Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk a little bit today. I'm going to talk about Gematria at a point and Zachary Hubbard. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I graduated from high school in 1984. I never bought into the moon landing as it's shown to us. I'm not saying they don't have technology that they can go into space if it's there, but I just never bought into the moon landing at all, and neither did a lot of the people that I went to school with. Again, if you don't know this, I went to a religious school and a public school, so I know a good bit about religion. I was an AB student, never had a hard time learning anything. I have an uncle who worked at NASA for 17 years, had a nervous breakdown and left. He was also in World War II. Some of the things there that I've kind of learned from being around them at an early age was educational. You know, I questioned everything from an early age. It would get me into trouble at times, create problems for me, but I still questioned. As I got older, I understood that government really didn't work for the people. Government worked for themselves and worked for orders that, you know, run the world. So when I started to understand that, I would speak out, and this is before 9/11. I would speak out. You know, I knew that the Oklahoma City bombing was a bunch of crap. I knew that Waco was completely ridiculous, and you know, at that time period, I really knew that government was lying to us a lot more than you were getting any form of the truth. I would burn off discs after 9/11 and before 9/11, so I would try to get information out. But really, after 9/11, I would burn off discs like Myron Fagan's, you know, work. Try to get Manly P. Hall on a disc and get it to people. Some of the 9/11 documentaries, try to get them on discs and get them to people to get people to understand. And it was really hard. And a lot of times, you know, there were these people that would accept information and then they just forget about it a week later. And then there are the people that just want to believe in government, that think you're nuts. And then you have this group of people that really don't care. They don't care. And then you have a group of people that actually get angry when you try to point something like this out and want to argue with you. And this is the way it has been all my life, like that kind of thing happening. And along the way, I woke up some people and got them to understand that, you know, government wasn't in your favor, wasn't working for you. And so then I came to YouTube. I come to YouTube when I had dial-up, and it would take me like a half an hour to load up a 5-minute video. And I would watch things like Truth Virus, Matty D for Truth. There were a number of channels there at that time period that were really rolling that you could watch short videos of, and they were great. They helped kind of reinforce how I saw government in the world. So about 15 years ago, I really started watching people on YouTube hard, and I watched a number of people in the supposed truth community really hard. And what I found was that you would get a group of people together and they would have some kind of organization and start to get organized. And almost every time there would be somebody that would come in the midst, or a group of people that would come in the midst and just create division and aggravation, and before long people would be arguing with each other. And then that unity blew apart. And, you know, before long, the people got upset with each other and yanked their channel and left and things of this nature. And it happened over and over again. Like you couldn't keep anybody solidified and then have more people jump on board a movement. The movement just didn't stay together. And so then I come across, this is later on, I come across Zach Hubbard's channel. And the first time I watched one of Zach's videos, it just blew my mind. And it cemented some of the things that I'd been looking at just like right into reality. So like Zach knows and has known, the numbers that come up, I used to bring up a Yahoo news feed on a daily. And I still do that. And I would see 11, 22, 33, and I knew they were master numbers, and they were linked with Freemasons and secret societies. And then I would see number 13 all the time, and I knew about the number 13, Friday the 13th. It's got a lot of things going on with it, 13. And then I would see 47 as well. So when I first started watching Zach's videos, I actually had to watch them. I watched some of them a couple times to make sure that nothing was going wrong. And this is in the beginning of his channel when he had a whiteboard. And he was literally just coming onto the whiteboard from pen and pencil, you know, from writing the stuff down. There was no Gematrinator calculator, so you had to figure it all out. And as he continued to grow, and I watched him, and I started practicing the use of Gematria in news articles. I mean, what I found was unbelievable. And so years go by, and you see Zach just gets better at it and better at it. And at this point, there is no denying that there is a numerical code that runs the English language. There's no denying it. This is rock solid now. It's cemented into reality, and it cements the fact that everything's fraudulent and you're being lied to. It cements that into reality. At this point, Zach's called enough sports events. He's called the Triple Crown several times, Super Bowls, golf tournaments, days in which we'll have weather modification. He's called them enough that even if he is wrong once in a while, he's called enough of them for that to be cemented. You know, I'm not quite sure what more he would have to do before people would realize that, oh, there is something going on here. So a point I'm going to make now is, it seems to me like every time Zach tried to do anything, you would have, of course, a bunch of shills, and I'm not really looking at the troll shill-like people that are paid by government to come on and derail his channel, but you would have a lot of people that just, they didn't want to hear the knowledge, and they would beat up on him and, you know, call him a shill, and I didn't like that at all. And I understand where some people are coming from, you know, where they say, well, he can be a little in your face and hard to deal with. Well, I can be a little in your face and hard to deal with if I want to, trust me. There are two things I don't like in life. I don't like stupidity or willful ignorance. That's one thing I don't like. And I don't like being lied to. That's another thing I don't like. So these two things really bother me. And then to add a third thing in there, I don't like injustice. I don't like to see somebody treated unjustly. You know, it is that way in life where you're going to, no matter how it goes, you're going to run into these situations, but it doesn't mean you have to like them. And I don't like those things. So those things make me angry and make me upset. And anger is a healthy thing. If you're angry, you should express it. So I'm saying this because, again, you know, Zach's taken a real beating here. And I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying that everything he does is perfect and he's perfect as a person. None of us are. But so lately now I've seen, you know, he's went out on a street corner with a bullhorn. And that, I got to be honest, that's impressive. You know, the last time I went out into public and handed out flyers, the oppression I met with was unbelievable. You know, I was told if I handed out any more flyers in the locality that I was at, I would be fined. That's, you know, you're not going to be doing this much longer. So he's out on a street corner with a bullhorn or a megaphone. And at this point in time, you can't criticize someone that's on the street corner with a bullhorn unless you're on the street corner with a bullhorn. So let's get that out of the way. And then I'm just blown away at how many channels, bigger channels, won't cover Zach's work. I mean, they don't want to take the time to just give it a few minutes of coverage. You would think that, you know, you'd need all hands on deck here, wouldn't you? That's what you'd think. And so, you know, a big channel would say, well, you know, I'll take a risk here and do it. Or maybe the big channel would just say, I'm gonna make a channel and I'm gonna put some of Zach's work here on YouTube. And if the channel gets taken down, so what? Let's let it be, let it roll. But no, you don't even see that. As a matter of fact, what I don't see is, I don't even see many people taken to the street corner with a bullhorn. And that is really what needs to happen in this country. If people want change in this country, they're going to have to do something to create the change. And it isn't here like I'm talking here. It isn't talking on YouTube that's going to create the change. The change has to happen in the real world in real time. So this is what I've seen throughout life. is that everybody wants change, but nobody wants to contribute to create change. Nobody wants to really get out and do things that cause change. And so, to be honest, Zach's out there, he's creating change. He's creating change to a degree. There are people that come by that see this, and they're like, oh, there's somebody else out there that actually sees through this nonsense. And, you know, it makes them feel happy and alive. And maybe, just maybe, they'll go out and they'll try to do a little bit of that themselves, as I've seen as has happened on the street corner Zach's been on. So, to kind of getting down to wrapping this video up, another person I would like to talk about, and I'm probably going to really butcher his name, and I'm sorry if I do, is Asif, and he has a channel, and I will put his channel, hopefully remember to put his channel and one of Zach's channels in the description below the video. But Asif's been a really nice guy to me. I kind of showed Asif to go to Zach's channel, and he's just a nice guy all the way around. And he's one of these guys that is working to try, he's a moderator on Zach's chat to try to make this movement go forward. And, you know, this is all these people have at this point, is this movement. And the movement has grown. And so, you know, when I look at Zach also, another thing I want to say is, you know, I think he's looking at it now, and he's starting to go in a little bit towards the mindset that I've been at. And that is, well, if no one's ever going to change, if this is never going to change, period, well, then what is the sense of me continuing to do this every day if nothing's going to change? I mean, he's out there trying to see if he can actually get real change. And so this is one of the reasons why, you know, I've kind of backed out of going around talking to people all the time, trying to get them information, because once again, I think that you need to want to become aware before you're going to become aware or awake or see anything more. And so this is one of the reasons why I haven't done that. But, you know, to wrap this video up, because it's getting a little long, maybe we shouldn't go around and beat on Zach. I mean, maybe, just maybe, some people ought to actually try to help Zach a little bit in some way or another, you know, and do something positive, you know, do something positive to help Zach. And I know there are a lot of people that are doing it, that are helping Zach, but I mean, we can't beat on the people who are trying to make change, whether we agree with them all or not. You're not required to agree with everything Zach does. And there's one more thing I want to put in here. One of the things that Zach doesn't mention that I know is that the use of Gematria is very, very old. This is a way that kings, queens, and rich people would in a time period when there was the only form of communication was to write on a paper or carve it in stone and give it to a mail boy who would either walk or ride a horse to the person they were delivering the message to. And that message would be coded. And they would use a form of Gematria or a form of coding to code the message. So this is nothing new. This is age old. And I'm quite sure that the people that run the world have been practicing this since they were able to run the world. Okay. That ought to pretty much wrap it up. Thank you, Asif, for being so nice to me. I really appreciate it, brother. Asif is a good person. And so is Zach deep within. Whether you like him, hate him, he's a good person. He tries. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a good day. Thanks for watching the video. Taking a few minutes out here to listen to me run at the mouth. Have a nice day.